Avatar came along, Lord of the Rings came along, and the technology was perfected, and we were able to uh, do Ted in a completely lifelike way, um, and to use that technology in a way that it really hasn't been used to date. The Avatar technology has been used for family films, for adventure films, for science fiction films, and nobody's really used it yet for traditional character comedy. And that's kind of strange because what that technology does so well is it takes fantastical characters and makes them as realistic in movement as possible. So it seems like the perfect genre for that. So Ted is he's that classic big-hearted but uh, kind of meat-headed New England guy who has a lot of love and a lot of enthusiasm and zest for life, but no self-editing mechanism. Um, so what he says is the really the first thing that pops into his mind, and that's growing up in New England, that was sort of a common thread. It's a really fun part of the country. The people are really warm and they're great folks to go drinking with. They're a great bunch of people, but there's oftentimes no sense of what to say and what not to say. But it's all forgivable because their hearts are in the right place. And Ted is very much an iconic, a classic Boston meathead. The Ted doesn't really have to, there's no obligation for him to grow up or do anything to um, force himself out of this juvenile place and into adulthood. John has to do that. John cannot just uh, languish in childishness as his teddy bear does. The movie's called Ted, but it is, if you had to pinpoint a story that really is the focal point, it's John's story, and uh, he's the one with the conundrum. He's the one who has to find this balance between friendship and love, and in that sense, again, it's a movie it's a story that could be played out with three human characters. His problems and the challenges that he faces as he juggles his relationship with Ted and his relationship with Laurie are challenges that he would be facing if Ted was a human. She's not the hands-on hips, traditional comedy girlfriend. She's not that at all. And part of that is due to the way we wrote it, but part of it is due to the fact that Mila is, and it was one of the reasons we chose her. She really has the ability to make sure that a character is not going to come off that way. Mark is a guy who very quietly and humbly can do anything, as far as I'm concerned. We threw every type of comedy at him in this movie. We had him do, subtle dialogue comedy, broad physical comedy. There's even outright drama in this movie. He plays a lot of colors, and he just does it all beautifully. Yeah, as with Family Guy, there are a lot of pop culture references in Ted. Um, it's it's chock full of them. Flash Gordon, obviously. Um, SpongeBob pops up in there, I think. Uh, Airplane, of course. Big. That was fun actually, because we rebuilt the set from the bar scene of Airplane, and that was a fun room to be in because you're like, ah, gosh, I've seen this movie 100 times, and here it is, you know, complete exact replica. There's no gratuitous sex, there's no violence. There's comedy violence, but that's about it. It's language, and so to me that makes it a soft R movie. So if you got a kid in high school, I mean, my parents would have taken me to a movie like this when I was in high school. It's pretty. It's if you're okay with the language, then it's fine. Because hey, they're hearing this language in the schoolyard anyway. Better they learn these words from Hollywood than in the schoolyard.